nurse informs the patient that during the preoperative training, she is going to measure body temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and breath. She disinfects her hands, puts the patient in the right position. Placing the digital thermometer under the armpit, the measured temperature reads from the thermometer after the beep sounds. Right value to patient documentation. When measuring blood pressure, the nurse uses a tonometer and a stethoscope. Empty tonometer is wrapped around the left arm of the patient, approximately 2.5 centimeters above the elbow. The nurse checks the cuff connection with the tonometer and closes the balloon valve. She feels for the pulse, inserts a phonendoscope into her ears, inserting the diaphragm into the locus in the elbow, and pumping air into the tonometer with the balloon. The nurse monitors the tonometer scale, slowly releasing the air out of the cuff. Once the first stroke is heard, it is the value of systolic blood pressure. The last audible stroke is the diastolic blood pressure value. The blood pressure value will be recorded in the patient documentation. Then the pulse measurement follows, when the nurse puts her 2 or 3 fingers on the radial artery of the patient, which she presses gently. When she feels beating under her fingers, she measures the number of pulses per minute. She writes down the measured value in patient documentation. The nurse also observes the breathing of the patient in a way that monitors the patient's inhalation and exhalation within 1 minute. She maintains communication to distract the patient's attention from measuring and possibly influencing breathing frequency. The nurse writes the measured breath value into the patient documentation. The nurse disinfects all equipment used. She is going to measure body temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and breath. Right value to patient documentation. The nurse uses a tonometer and a stethoscope. She maintains communication to distract the patient's attention from measuring and possibly influencing breathing frequency.